Hi, welcome to this video about making a website with ChatGPT. I will preface by saying that you need to know a bit of HTML and CSS, and I will also use Django as my framework, as that is what I am comfortable with. But I will use the AI for everything that you will see on this website. And with it, we will go from nothing to this. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like the content, and let's get right into it. So let's use Django. I'm going to nudge ChatGPT to using Django so we can work with that. And now we have our 10-step guide from ChatGPT on how to make this website. So let's begin with step 1, which is just setting up everything with Django. I'm going to use Visual Studio Code, as that is what I like the best and I think it's really good. So I'm just going to set up the different folders and the different things that a Django project needs. So Django uses Django admin to start the project. I'm not going to call it plant care guide. I'm just going to open my folder where the plant care guide is, and then we're going to get started on the code from ChatGPT. And there we have it. We have a folder with plant care guide and our different Django files of URLs, views, and models, which we will be filling with different codes. All right, let's go to the second step, which ChatGPT says we're going to create an app. Django uses apps to separate different parts of the website. So on the third step, we will want to add some models. And the model for a Django project is where we have the data. Not really a database, but where we have the object that we want to put on the website. So in our case, it's our plants. We're going to take this step by step. A great tip when using ChatGPT to make any code is to take small chunks instead of asking it to make a big project. So we're going to ask it on step 3, can you expand on how to fill this models.py with code? And then it will help us. So I got the code for it and I just copy and pasted it into our website, and we're going to head straight to the step 4. Again, we ask ChatGPT to expand on this step and we're going to copy and paste the code. But before that, I noticed that they used class-based views, and I don't program in that way in Django, so I asked it, I nudged it a bit, pivot to function-based views, and then I copy and pasted the code. So then our models and our views looks like this. So our view has a form. It says it should have a comment form, but I noticed that we don't have that file, so I'm going to ask ChatGPT to create that for us. So I'm just going to ask, hello, I see a comment form in your code, but I don't have a reference to that. So can you create the comment form? And of course, ChatGPT remembers what it has given as code, and it will just give us an example of this comment form. And I'm going to copy and paste it straight into our website. So let's go to step 5, which is setting up the URLs. And the URL patterns is how we get to the plants or the plant detail, which we can see in the view. ChatGPT is trying to create a page where you have like a list of plants, and then you click on one plant and you get the detail. And the next step is just take the code for the templates, which is the HTML, and put that in our code as well. So I'm just going to create a folder of templates, and I'm going to copy and paste the HTML for the plant list and for the plant detail, and then that's done. So now we have to fill the website with data. So as I said, you do that in the models page, but you have to fill the classes with data. And you use that in Django using an admin panel. So in the admin panel, we can add the data, but first we have to access it. So you do that in 3 steps. Number 1, you have to add the models, so the plants, in the admin.py file. And number 2 is you have to actually migrate everything. But I noticed also that the comment model wasn't there. So I'm going to add the comment model into our models.py file so we can change that as well. Not sure I'm going to actually use that, but we're going to add it so the code works. And number 3 is you actually have to create a super user, an admin user, to log into the admin page so that not everyone can access it. So now that we have the admin page set up and we have the admin user, let's log into it and see how it works. See here that the plants model is there, but it's empty. And before we're gonna fill that up, let's see how the website works. And I noticed that there's an error, and it says that a template does not exist. So I'm gonna look through this and debug it. And I noticed instantly that ChatGPT says, let's name our templates this way. But I named it in a slightly different way because that's how I work. So I'm just gonna add a folder that's called plants, and that will help make it work. So it's basically just a communication error between me and ChatGPT. And there we have it. Now we have our website and it works without errors, but as you can see, we have no plants. So we're gonna add that now from the admin panel. ChatGPT has made it easy for us with 4 fields that we have to fill in: a name for the plant, a description for the plant, an image for the plant, and then lastly, the care plant guide. And I think that's perfect for our website. It makes sense. It's a care plant guide, so for each plant you know what to do. So I'm just gonna copy and paste some images from Google to have some plant images. I don't know a lot about plants actually, so I'm just gonna take some names, cool plant, etc. I'm not gonna use actual text. And let's see how it works. So there we have it. We have a link to the plant, and we can have now a list of different plants, and then we can click each one for the detailed page. But it doesn't really look good, and we need images, right? So the first thing I'm gonna ask is, how do I add images on Django? So in Django, you have to add settings to use an image, and you have to like change small different parts of the code. I'm just gonna set that up as ChatGPT tells me, but in essence, I'm just gonna change the source of the image to a static file on the Django's server. And now it looks better. We have an image, the title of the plant, but it doesn't look good. And I want my website to look good. But I suck at design, I really do. I use Figma a lot, but I suck at design. So we're gonna use a different AI for this part. We're gonna use DallE, which is built on the same AI, but we give it prompts, and instead of text, we get images. So here I shows a website that looks really cool about plants. I got an image, and we're gonna use that as a reference to make our website look better. We're gonna use ChatGPT to get the code for it. We're gonna use DallE for the reference image, and then we're gonna build it with ChatGPT. First, I wanted to use a framework for the CSS, so I'm gonna use Bootstrap, because that's what I'm best at. So I'm gonna use Bootstrap to add the CSS to our Django website. And then I'm gonna use the reference of the image and ask ChatGPT, again, step by step, the different parts of the website. So we started with the nav bar to get the nav bar looking good, but I had to change some colors of it to make it look better and closer to the reference image. And I'm just gonna change everything from like brand to plant care guide, and maybe from link 1, link 2, link 3 to something that's actually relevant to our website. And then I'm gonna look at the reference image again, and I notice that the nav bar also has some type of purple blob. And I really like that idea, so I'm gonna ask ChatGPT if it can help me do that. And abstract things like this, like a purple blob, how do I even describe that to ChatGPT? And I think this is one of the really hard parts that ChatGPT can't really handle that well. One thing that ChatGPT is really good at though is text. So I'm gonna ask it to write me a title and some paragraphs for a website about plant care guides. What are some good text for that? So I'm gonna just copy and paste that into the layout that I have made. But I noticed that this layout isn't really good. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to try to match that layout of that reference image, which is basically just have the text on one side and the image on the other side. So we created the text with ChatGPT, and we're gonna make the image from DallE. And I found this great plant that I really like, so I'm just gonna remove the background and download it, and then I'm gonna remove the source of the HTML to this new plant that I've downloaded. And I really think that making this website look a lot better now. We're gonna go and make the other site good now as well. So I think this looks really good, but now we've changed like the structure of our website a bit. ChatGPT just wanted a plant list and then a plant detail page, but we now have a landing page that then takes us to the plant list. So we're gonna ask ChatGPT, how do I link between this landing page and the plant list? We're going to add the view and the URL pattern for that. So I'm just going to quickly add the code for that, just create a view function for it that is just showing the landing page basically. And then we're going to have a link on the landing page to the plant list instead of just showing the plant list directly. So now we have our website, and now we can click the search plants and we get to that page. But damn, that looks really ugly. So we're gonna ask ChatGPT to make some kind of grid of the images, so we get like images in a row with text under. So let's try to make that with like 3-4 rows. We're gonna copy and paste that code. It's in Bootstrap again, because that's what we're using as our CSS library. We're gonna copy and paste it so it works for us, and it looks a lot better, I think. I think it looks decent. So we're gonna just fix some width of the image. I think we're gonna make it a bit bigger. I think that will look better. And we're gonna change where the text is just to make it look a lot better. But I think that also when you have a grid of images, we need more images so we can see how it actually looks with the layout. So I'm just gonna quickly add like 3 more images and see how that looks. We're gonna add some shadow to see if it makes it look a lot better. And I think it looks decent now. It definitely doesn't look good, but I think it looks decent, and I'm fine with that for now. I'm also gonna make it so that the image is the link instead, because I don't like the blue text with the link, so I'm gonna make the image the link to the detailed page instead. Now I'm just gonna add a search bar as well, because I think that's missing, because we want to search among our plants. That's the whole concept. I'm not actually gonna implement the search working, I'm just gonna make it visually look like it does. Maybe in the next video I can make it work, because that's definitely what I would do as the next step. All in all, I think that this search plant site looks pretty decent now, and I'm happy with it. So I'm gonna actually go back to the landing page and make that look a lot better. I think with the reference image it had like more blobs and like a call to action button, so I'm gonna go and work on that. So with Bootstrap I just asked ChatGPT to make a call to action button that is pink, and we're gonna have to add a bit of CSS just to make that pink look best. But I think that's just really easy. We ask ChatGPT, copy and paste it, change the color so it works best for me. And then we're gonna try to make this green blob. And again, abstract things. How do I even ask ChatGPT, how do I make a green blob for the background of our website? So I tried to come up with a prompt that works. I copied and pasted it, and I think it looked horrible. It didn't look at all what I wanted. It was just a green rainbow. That's not what I want. So I wanted to add more randomness to it. I wanted it to be like a splash of paint. So I worked on that several times. I asked it multiple times, and I tweaked the values of the CSS till I found something that I kind of liked. And I think it turned out pretty good. So now we have this homepage that looks really good. I really enjoyed the end result, and the search plant that works as well. If you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna make more content about web dev, so make sure to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next one.